Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare video. In tonight's video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 weapons, in my opinion, in multiplayer as of right now after all the latest patch updates we've gotten and on the current meta in multiplayer during Season 1. Because we kind of had these new weapons, we've settled into a Season 1 sort of meta, and I want to talk about the best weapons, in my opinion, for all sorts of different gunfights, angles, and builds that you're going to be taking on in this game. Probably will make an updated, top 10, 15, whatever best class ups for this update as well some point this weekend, I would assume, but for this video we're talking about the top 5 best guns in my opinion and giving the reasons why I think these weapons are good and bad and some tips for each of them. If you guys could drop a like on this video, that would be very, very awesome. I'd really appreciate if we could go ahead and go for 437 likes. That would be incredible if we could hit that. It only takes half a second to hit that like button below the video, so I'd really appreciate if everyone could hit that thumbs up button. Also subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed. That would be awesome as well. And let's go ahead and break it down and get right into it. So first of all, these are in no particular order because if you're an SMG player, then this weapon you're seeing right now, the MP5, might be your favorite gun. However, if you're someone that likes to play more long range, ground war, AR setups, another weapon will be definitely your top weapon. So in my opinion, I could break down my top 3 out of these top 5, but after that it gets a little bit more fishy, and I'll talk about the top 3 later, but for the rest of the stuff, it's in no particular order. So you guys can go ahead and leave your orders of the top 5, including weapons that aren't on this list or are on this list down in the comment section down below. Let's get right into it. First of all, we have the MP5 here, and in my opinion, the MP5 is still the best SMG in this game, and that's why, of course, if you're the best SMG in a game where Shoot House 24/7 is one of the most poppin' playlists, because of course they changed Crash 24/7 back into Shoot House 24/7, I think for sure then you deserve a spot on this list. Now, what makes the MP5 so good? First of all, its raw time to kill, which is basically your damage combined with your fire rate, is amazing on this weapon. The second fact is the 10mm ammo, which is the key to allow you to get kills like that, where you're picking people off at nice medium to long ranges, where the recoil pattern is still sort of like a bounce. You're not running out of ammo too quickly because, I mean, you are running out of ammo quickly, but you do have sleight of hand for the almost instantaneous reloads, and this is just a weapon that can do amazing things up close, has great hipfire, great mobility on it, everything great around an SMG, which is mainly around the mobility and its function up close, but also has the ability to pick people off at range, much like another weapon like the MP7 would, which shout out to the MP7, but for my personal experience, I think the MP5 is the best SMG as of right now, and I think it's just an incredible one to use. You see here in this gameplay here where I was running around picking some people off, and then I'm actually on a big gun streak going for the nuke, so I played a little bit more defensive, post up in the house. Whenever you're on a streak on Shoot House and you want to convert on the nuke, or even if it's not just converting for a nuke, you're trying to get maybe a support helo or a chopper gun or an AC-130 or advanced or a VTOL, whatever you're trying to work for, this building is actually, like, this is a camping building, but it's basically the spot where you can control the backside, usually with a claymore or just by listening for footsteps or watching for the spawn flip, and pick people off to get the last couple kills you need for whatever streak, which happen to be the tactical nuke in this gameplay right here. But MP5, definitely a top 5 weapon in this game, and when it comes down to SMGs, if I'm going try hard, I pull out the MP5. Next weapon on my list right here is going to be the AUG. Now, the AUG is interesting because I don't think this is the best SMG, and I don't think it's the best AR, but the way that you play this weapon, because of the fact that the 5.56 ammunition, which converts, when you throw that on, converts you to have a 30 round 5.56 ammo, makes this weapon sort of like a hybrid SMG AR. And while I don't think it's the best SMG or the best AR, overall, this weapon is just amazing for the fact that you have a sort of close range, mid-range AR setup with the 5.56 ammo conversion, but you don't have to use a stock or something to increase your strafing speed, your aim walking movement speed, because of the fact that this is an SMG. So because it's classified as an SMG, you still have the mobility and all the benefits that come with an SMG, but you get the ammo of a AR. And while it may not have the best range, even with that ammunition, you're able to put some things onto this weapon, such as like the 600-meter barrel, and also some other things to speed it up, like the 5MW laser or other, grips that help to speed up this weapon. And what you come out with is a weapon that is overall really, really good, and that's why I think it deserves a spot on this list. This is a weapon that, especially on, like, let's say you're going into Shoot House or you're going into a 10v10 scenario where it's like, most of my gunfights are probably going to be up close to mid-range, but I'm also going to have some gunfights where I need to pick people off at a little bit longer range than you get from even out of a traditional submachine gun like the MP5 or the MP7, and that's where a weapon like this comes in handy, while also maintaining its excellent mobility, not needing to use a stock, and also having, of course, outstanding hipfire and just good rushing speeds, handling speeds overall, but nice damage and the ability to have honestly not very much recoil in a game where A lot of weapons don't have the most recoil, or even the ones that do, by the time you feel the recoil or feel the kick, you've already got the kill. This is a weapon that straight up, the recoil is just straight up or vertical. Next on my list is going to be the Ram 7. Now, this is a new DLC weapon into this game, of course, available for free from the Battle Pass, and this one 100% deserves a spot on my list. I would put this in the top 3 guns in the game, and debatably, this one is making its way up towards that #1 spot, in my personal opinion, and I think for a lot of people it is too. The Ram 7, the downsides you have with this weapon, well, what this weapon is it is an assault rifle, but it is an assault rifle with a wicked fast fire rate, and it reminds me a lot of the FAMAS from Black Ops 1, mixed with sort of like a Peacekeeper from Black Ops 2, or mixed with also like a TAR 21 from Modern Warfare 2, because that's sort of how it looks, but it doesn't play traditionally like the TAR 21. Has a lot faster fire rate, just from my examination, or I guess you could say from my eye test. It seems like it has a lot faster fire rate than the TAR 21 from Modern Warfare 2, and this weapon, why I compare it to the FAMAS in BO1, is the pre-patch FAMAS, when it just had a ridiculous fire rate, ridiculous time to kill, and the punishment, I guess you could say the recoil is like a post-FAMAS, but the damage is like a pre-nerf FAMAS, and from Black Ops 1, of course. I'm talking some OG stuff right now, but basically this is a weapon where your problems are going to be that you're going to run out of ammo quite a bit, which is counteracted by the double combo of sleight of hand and extended mags, where you make this thing have 45 rounds, but you also have sleight of hand, which does slow you down a tad bit, but is worth it, because even with just the normal 30 and a sleight of hand, it feels like you're running out of ammo so often on this gun, because of course, it's firing very, very fast, and you play sort of a faster play style with it, because it does feel like a hybrid weapon. And the only main downside would be that recoil that kicks up and to the right traditionally, or I think it can kick up and just in sort of all different ways, up, definitely vertical and to the sides, but when you're able to pull down against that recoil on the right thumbstick and keep it, those are my 2 best tips for this weapon, is of course level it up and unlock all the good attachments you need, but pull down on the right thumbstick to help counteract the recoil, and then aside from that, keep your gunfights, do not be trying to pick people off on a super duper far away in ground war, keep it traditionally mid to close range, and this weapon will shine, and you will get some kills where it's just like, how the heck did I just take out 3 enemies before they could even snap on target? The time to kill and the statistics around this weapon are ridiculous, and it's rare that you see a DLC weapon make its way right away into the top 5, but this one definitely has. Next weapon on this list is going to go ahead and be the Kilo. Now with this weapon, I did have a tough spot. This was probably the last one that I did pick, and for this one, I was having a tough time picking between the AK-47 or the Kilo. I also want to give a shout out and an honorable mention to the Odin, and also an honorable mention to the MP7. Both really good weapons that are just shy of my list right here, but the reason I picked the Kilo over the AK-47 is because the AK has definitely better damage, and it deals with the 7.62 ammo, so that's a plus over the 5.56 in terms of damage multipliers and damage at range. But something about the Kilo, where if you don't like the handling of like a Ram, or you know, some of the other weapons we're going to talk about here, like an M4, this is a weapon that the handling is amazing, like an ACR, but it hits hard, and this is a weapon that is just no BS. Basically, if you just want a weapon where, okay, I just want to chill, I want to relax, I want to play Call of Duty, and I want a reliable weapon that's not going to have me miss any shots, this is a weapon that is amazing. First thing about the Kilo is that just it handles pretty nicely, and although it does have a tiny bit of recoil, one attachment just eliminates almost all recoil if you do care enough about that. If you don't really want to put an attachment into it, I like to run it usually where I throw on like a red dot or a circular dot sight, and then just pull down for the recoil, the small recoil that it does have. But the handling of this weapon, the reload time, everything is just absolutely awesome, and it reminds me a little bit more of how, considering how like the M4 was before they nerfed it so many times, where the recoil pattern is a little bit insane. Of course, the M4 beats this one out in terms of fire rate and time to kill and damage, but in terms of handling, it doesn't get much better than the ACR of this game, which is the Kilo 141. For players who play 10v10 or ground war, give this weapon a go, and I think a lot of players are going to fall in love with the Kilo if they aren't already. It definitely deserves a spot on this list, but like I said, was a close and tough decision. And then the last but definitely not least, which easily deserves a spot on this list, even after it's been nerfed so many times, the M4A1. This is a weapon that is just amazing for its really, really fast reload times, for its really fast fire rate, and for its amazing default sight. It's just a weapon that works overall greatly, and it was by far and above the best weapon in this game for the majority of the time of this game's life cycle. Now, as of it is right now, as the meta is right now, I'm not sure if I would say this is by far and away the best gun in the game. In my opinion, the top 3 guns as of right now are going to be the Ram 7, the M4, and the MP5. Those are my personal top 3. I think the M4's biggest con or negative around this weapon right now would be the recoil pattern, that the recoil pattern does kick quite a bit, similar to how you'd have it on a Ram 7, and it, you know, compared to like a Kilo or even the AK where it's just a straight up and down bounce pattern, or even the Odin, it is a little bit harder to control. However, keeping this thing to where it excels, I mean, you can use the M4 in pretty much all scenarios, but at very, very long distances, there are some weapons that outclass it, and at very close distances as well. But on the mid-range of the majority of your gunfights you're taking, you can design class ups around this weapon with a stippled grip tape where you're just amazing in terms of the speed and handling and a sleight of hand. But then you also have a grenadier barrel, which makes this thing have amazing damage at range, and you have other attachments, maybe a monolithic suppressor or some other things that just, no matter what, after all the nerfs, just based on the raw stats and not based on the actual handling and playstyle you have to use with this weapon, it deserves a spot on this list and still is a top weapon in this game. That's what I would say as far as my top 3, my top 5 weapons on this current patch update. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Smack a like if you guys made it to the end of the video. That would be absolutely incredible. And subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed. I'll catch you on the next one. That's about it, and I'm out. Peace.